You know what?
She seems to have easy about top shape. She reaches in and grabs right hold of your heart. She seems to.
I want to know.
I want to know what you're thinking.
I want to know how we get the states. Who comes into the states and starts looking around them to see how much money they're stealing? And who knows about it? Are the states just screwed? The states seem to be just another big fat source of lost money. You can't have regrets for the bad things that happen to you. They're just as important as the good things. I've learned way more from my mistakes than I have from my success. I said Hollywood would die the day I pulled out of town.
We're good. You got your seatbelt on? Seatbelts? Seatbelts!
We're going to find out just how mentally healthy this country is over these next few years. Maybe few months. Shit. I just don't think there's time in life to hold a grudge. You got to get through it, move through it, figure it out, look for something fun to do. But don't ever miss an opportunity to call someone out for being a dick. I wasn't the one who started this bullshit, but I will do what it takes to end it. And trust me, I used plenty of state resources, plenty of federal. I'm sure a lot of federal money. I'm not on it anymore, but it definitely saved my ass. I guess I can kind of thank all the Democrats that were involved in canceling me and just making my business disappear and lose my home and all that. At least they provided me a safety net. They gave me insurance, good insurance, like as good of insurance as I had like with Citigroup. My Citigroup insurance or at Legg Mason or even at Deutsche, my insurance at those companies was just as good as Obamacare, Medicaid. It didn't suck. I had everything tended to that I needed to have tended to. The only thing that sucked was the attorney that I used during my car accidents, but that shit happens. Welcome to the Ackerman Alliance Daily Show, your daily dose of things you need to know, and probably some things you don't. Yeah, it's all happening. It's all happening right before our eyes. More censures in Congress. Everybody's just going to continue the hate. We're going to continue to push and hate and drive forward with who knows what. How far are we going to go with this? I think it's going to start making people really angry. I'm seeing more people, I'm seeing more videos where there are some Democratic wives starting to come out and say, I think I'm out of here. This isn't the Democratic Party that I know. It's going to come soon. It's going to come hot and it's going to come fast. Unless everybody just wants to go to arms. I mean, we have to stop the corruption. We're being taken over by a corrupt organization, group, way of life. I mean, we don't really know, but we're going to have to sort it out somehow because we all got to live here still, right? Might as well just start figuring out ways to just how do we do this? Because I certainly want some fixing the courts, how lopsided they are, how corrupt they are, the relationships, like my lawyer for my divorce, his sister was one of the judges. And if they have the political beliefs that the administration that prosecuted Trump has, and somebody comes in who believes the other way, does that just mean their life is over now? Do all my friends, the ones who just are totally staying silent, should I just does everybody want me to move out of town? Is that why I was taken down? Or was it just the fact that I know everybody? Because if that's it, I mean, whatever. Whatever. Everybody is judged by their own decisions. And when you are not overly concerned about the decisions that you made as an individual for most of your life. Was I perfect? No, hell no. Who was? But boy, there sure are a lot of people who aren't perfect. So you shouldn't throw stones in a glass house. That's what this feels like. Let's just get back to communication. Let's just leave out the filth. Let's leave out the vile, the toxic. I don't think we can do that anymore. I don't think that exists. I really don't think it exists. What's like, yeah, no, it's not going to work. I don't think we'll ever be able to go back to just not discussing politics either, because look at how far out of hand they got. The faster we can rip this Band-Aid off, the faster I think we can get back to some sort of, I think RFK puts it, normalcy. And just start listening to Victor Davis Hanson. I'm serious. Just start listening to Victor Davis Hanson. He is probably one of the smartest dudes I know. You cannot, for the life of me, like, get me to understand why this is so vile still. I mean, it's just vile, and it's going further, and there's been a censure, and, you know, FBI heads leaving. I mean, it's, I realize everybody wants to be that one to like fight, but why doesn't somebody on that side just come forward and kind of blow out like the chiefs of it all? Let's just rip it out from the root and just turn everything into a fair system. You can't have regrets for the bad things that happen to you. They're just as important as the good things. I've learned way more from my mistakes than I have from my success. I said Hollywood would die the day I pulled out of town.
We're good. You got your seatbelt on? Seatbelts? Seatbelts!
We're going to find out just how mentally healthy this country is over these next few years. Maybe few months. Shit. I just don't think there's time in life to hold a grudge. You got to get through it, move through it, figure it out, look for something fun to do. But don't ever miss an opportunity to call someone out for being a dick. I wasn't the one who started this bullshit, but I will do what it takes to end it. Oh, wow. Claude's finished with, I had Claude write me 2 different stories. Claude's the AI I use. 2 different stories. I want a story based upon, I asked him, you know, you are supposedly the smartest being there is in the world now, as an artificial intelligence, access to the information that it has. I asked it to write me 2 stories, you know, up to 5 pages in each story. And I said, write me what the global political environment, you know, the current situation in Ukraine and Israel, just how this story ends up in 10 years based upon all the same information I have access to, what it looks like, how it ended up. And then I want you to do that for Trump. And I want you to just make it up based upon the events that have taken place. Everything has to be like released publicly. I told it couldn't access any of the secret files and data that it's not supposed to give to the public. I insinuated that it has access to something that they're not telling us. Sometimes their responses are kind of interesting. You got to throw in little things like that when you're, you know, trying to figure it out. You have to think of an AI as just being around a super intelligent person that you can ask anything that will not be condescending or cause you any anxiety. So for you people who have a little bit of social anxiety, you should really learn to have conversation using AI. Find one that responds quickly. I know they're still like shaping how they work. They still frustrate me. I use the word more than I use the conversation. But I haven't read them yet. I don't know what it is. In fact, I totally forgot what I was looking for at this point right here. If she's crazy, I haven't dated in 20 plus years. And then it happened. She walked right up to me, looked at me in the eyes and said, "Would you like a Tito's?" And right there began the craziest 18 months of my life. When life throws you curveballs, you just have to get better at hitting curveballs.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things.
Since I forgot like what I was looking for and I couldn't find it while we were on that quick little break thing, I'm going to play a video for you guys that I put it together a while ago. I think it's uploaded. I forgot about it. Somebody actually somebody saw it, commented on it, sent me a message, but this is just a little blurb. It's a part of a movie, but it's the best representation of what a wholesaler does, like what a person does that I did for Citi and Deutsche and when I was traveling. And where, I just got crash course in global finance, investments, closed-end funds. It was fun. It was super challenging, always put in new situations, new people, massive egos. But this is probably the best representation.
The easiest way to explain what an investment wholesaler does, I think, is to just reference this movie, The Big Short. This is the only movie clip I've ever seen that actually depicts what an industry financial wholesaler does in their daily activities. I did this all over the country, mainly west of the Mississippi, but here's an example of what a wholesaler would do. And I actually worked for Deutsche. I did not do what this guy did, but here's an example of what a wholesaler does from The Big Short.
Okay, hi. How are you?
Have a seat.
Okay, Mr. Bennett from Deutsche Bank. What do we have?
I've only heard stories about wholesaling in Manhattan. That's the mothership. The guys who covered New York were supposedly the mavericks of the company, the best of the best, the Top Gun guys. The first few minutes of your meeting are pretty stressful. You just spent $2,000, you spent 3 months, your scheduler and your internal, you've set up this meeting, you got your chance, you got one opportunity to make these people think you've got something to offer.
So how many people have you talked to about this trade?
A few. There's definitely some interest.
Oh, my boss would have my ass.
You know,
Crazy, Jim? Get lost. Fuck you.
Which is why you're here talking to us, a wrong number. Sounds like there's a lot of interest.
All right. A few people have invited us in just to laugh at me on this deal. Is that you? Is that what this is?
That's not what this is. That's just how Mark is.
Remember, all this is an example of what a wholesaler does. We're not going to get into the details here of what happened during the financial crisis and kind of, what I had to deal with. That'll be for shows down the road. We will talk about that, but we got to start somewhere.
Let's see what you got. I'm sorry.
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
Cologne?
No?
Opportunity.
No. Money.
Okay.
I smell money.
Okay.
This is him attempting to use humor, kind of lighten the mood a little bit. You got to remember, walking into a room full of brokers or private equity managers or hedge fund managers, these guys have egos the size of Lower Manhattan. I mean, it's amazing. I've got some stories. We'll get into those down the road. Biggest egos you'll ever deal with in your life.
This is your basic mortgage bond. All right? The originals were simple. They were just...
Now, as you'll see here, in the beginning, every one of these guys has their eyes locked on this wholesaler. That is a good sign.
A is getting paid first. The lowest rated B is getting paid last, taking on defaults first.
Wholesaling during the financial crisis was probably one of the toughest periods there was for wholesaling. But they get paid a lot of money, so they kind of deserve it.
Chris? Somewhere along the line, these B's and double B's went from a little risky to dog shit. Where's the trash?
Behind you.
I'm talking rock bottom FICO scores.
I remember all this stuff like it was yesterday. It kind of brings a little PTSD. Yeah, these things were really happening.
No income verification.
Oh, yeah, the old no income verification. Sure, sir, you can borrow $1.2 million. Just go ahead and tell us what you make. We don't need you to prove that you make that much money. Just take it, hand it out. Here you go. Here's another couple $1 million. Go buy real estate.
Adjustable rates, dog shit. The default rates are already up from 1 to 4%, fellas. And if they rise to 8%, and they will, a lot of these triple Bs are going to 0 too. And that, you're too close, is an opportunity.
Okay, you're saying that at 8% the bonds fail and we are already at 4%?
Now, these people are real. This guy was Steve Eisman. He was considered to be a Wall Street rebel. Started as a lawyer, became a financial analyst. Now, remember, financial analyst is basically somebody who has an opinion, and opinions are all they are. Now, some might think that opinions move markets. They can. That's why our country's leaders and our politicians need to have their trading privileges looked at, because when you have an opinion and you have power, you have the ability to marry those up into what's called making lots of money.
That's right.
If they go to 8, it's Armageddon.
Yeah, that's right.
How come nobody's talking about this?
You're completely sure of the math.
Look at him. That's my quant.
You're what?
My quantitative. My math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
It's very racist.
I guess this movie was made back when you could still make jokes.
His eyes. I'll give you a hint. His name's Yang.
A wholesaler travels the country, visits brokers, wealth managers, independent advisors, registered investment advisors, hedge fund managers, family offices, you name it. If you are a professional who would purchase an investment for a client or for yourself, a wholesaler's out there looking to give you an idea. And usually that idea consists of investments that are in your briefcase that you then make money on, and hopefully everybody makes money on. But therein lies what wholesaling, the essence of wholesaling really is. And it just so happens to be the highest paying sales job in the country. Hands down, no question.
It's upon us. It's going to be up to us. If we don't start talking, Trump's going to be where he's at. And I guess it's going to be up to the judges, the Supreme Court justices, the federal judges, the appointed judges, the Obama judges. Comes down to the judges. And I know a federal judge really well. He's no longer a federal judge. He retired. I think a lot of the people that are retiring right now, there'll probably be a lot of people who do retire, because I think when you retire and you're part of this bigger system that's been just operating what looks like with complete impunity for who knows how many years. I'm sure it was kind of under the radar for a lot of years and only been this way ramped up for especially the last 4. But it's probably pretty rampant when you hand out free money, when people get used to free money, just woohoo, doing nothing, saying nothing, living life. I guess it kind of depends on what those people are doing with their life, though, too. If they're like are they living a good, productive life? Or are they taking that money and out destroying other people in the community, kind of like I was destroyed? Something's going to happen here real soon. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff to go over soon. And when that happens, if I still get silenced, if I am still unable to promote these videos, I mean, there's no point in paying for promotions, because I've done that, and YouTube just sends you to this like obscure bot land where I think bots watch your videos, they'll get you subscribers, but nobody exists. There's no comments, there's no communication, there's nothing. How do you get on that list? Somebody finds something. If somebody can find a video in my catalog of videos, and it's pretty eclectic, it goes back a while. Maybe 10 years. I'm not exactly sure. But if you can find a video in my backlog that you think is the reason, because they say YouTube can do that to you if you post something that's not technically illegal, but they don't agree with, or they think violates like their moral codes or whatever, then they can supposedly do that to you, but it's still hard to interpret. And I wouldn't pay a lawyer to interpret, because I literally have been ripped off by so many lawyers in the past 10 years due to incompetence, literally due to incompetence. The lawyer I hired to finish my divorce, he was good. He was a competent lawyer. He knew what was up. But we had to get into like almost a yelling match on the phone for me to solve my divorce. And I swear, this is such a small town. And I remember like some of the Democratic elected officials that I've been around, they always seem to just kind of act very immune to everything. Like nothing bothered them. Nothing. When our whole deal went down, when our lead investor just got nuked by a pretty big Seattle newspaper or magazine, I think the Stranger magazine. And I mean, he was as toxic as it came. So all the investors, I was suddenly just like, oh, okay. Well, okay. All right, everybody. What are we doing? Well, of course, we had to keep going. I mean, there was all this money poured into it. So, I don't know. And then, poof. Then suddenly Dave goes, cancel. Done. Over. What's that? Seriously. I stick around to save everybody's ass. And then, poof. I'm gone. Can you see why I'm starting a narrative for myself on the old Camarole? This could get really fun.
Who am I? Well, let's just say I'm your typical American kid. If typical means growing up insecure, stuttering through sentences, dodging a critical mom, and watching dad hide in the shadows. High school kicked me out 2 weeks early for leaving campus with my girlfriend. One of these girls is her. And the closest I got to college was throwing a touchdown pass to my buddy in the 5th grade. I was lucky to spend a lot of time with my grandparents. They were great. Learned to use my words to navigate life, just like Grandpa said. Make friends, make money. I experimented, took things apart. Guess I learned the old-fashioned way by just making mistakes. Hey! I've sold wine to grocery stores, driven heavy equipment, caddied on the PGA Tour, was in a band, even went to LA in my early 20s to give acting a shot. Pretty sure I can fly anything with wings. Worked in sales most of my life, got recruited to Wall Street, and one day I even rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's been a crazy ride. Married for 18 years, married for 18 months, divorced twice, and both of the women are in this picture. And I'll guarantee you, divorce during the Trump years was not fun. Lawfare sucks. But thank goodness I had a woman come to my rescue. And she's in this picture. Maybe it's just me, but I truly believe that humans can accomplish anything if they just try without the fear of failing. Most people stop before they even start. If you believe in leading by example, doing what's right by standing up for those who need the help, but most importantly, if you feel like you have the skills to spot a fraud, then this might be for you. This is a place where action speaks louder than words, where leadership isn't about titles or education. It's about showing up, execution, and understanding that no matter how experienced you are, you always have something to learn. Life's challenges only postpone your dreams. They don't erase them. Welcome to the Ackerman Alliance.